Hi everybody, what is the scene? It's me, EstherDTrini, and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be making orange cranberry scones. I absolutely love the flavors of orange and cranberry together. So if you can, try it in your recipes like your cake, your pastries, whatever. It tastes so good, like real good. So yeah, if you want to see how to make this, stay tuned.
Alright, so we're going to start with a large bowl. Add 2 cups of all-purpose flour in it. Spoon and level. Don't dip your measuring cup into the bag. Spoon it out and level it. So to that you're going to add 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder and a half teaspoon of salt and whisk it together. Now I'm going to grate some frozen butter. I froze my butter for 30 minutes. It's a half cup of butter, which is also equal to 1 stick of butter. And I'm going to add it to the flour mixture. So the reason why you're grating it is because while the scones bake, the little pieces of butter will create like little pockets of steam, so that the scone will be very light and airy and just perfect. So you just want to continue to cut the butter into the flour mixture with your fingers or a food processor or a pastry blender if you have one until it looks like breadcrumbs. So in a separate bowl, add a half cup of heavy cream. I used milk, I will explain that later. 1 egg, a half cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of orange extract and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I put orange extract since I didn't use the zest in the flour in the beginning. So whisk it together and add it to the flour mixture. Now when you're making dough, it's always best to start with a small amount of the liquid because you don't want to risk your dough getting too wet and then you will have to add more flour and it could just be a disaster. So what I just did there was press down the dough to make sure that it sticks together well, and once I know that was good, I added my dried fruit. However much I wanted, and then I mixed it together. Try not to mix the dough too much because you don't want it to be tough. That wouldn't be good. That's the extra milk that remained dough. I will explain that later. So on a floured surface, take out the dough and ball it together. Press it down with your fingertips. I use the rim of a glass covered in flour so that it cuts out well. If you have a cookie cutter, you could use that, or just cut it into a shape that you want. People usually cut it into triangles or circles for scones. So yeah, and don't waste the extra dough, please. None of that, no wasting. Do the same thing, just ball it back up together and put the cut out pieces of dough onto a cookie sheet lined with parchment paper, and then you bake it at 400 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes. Oh, I forgot the extra milk that I used. I just take my fingers and put it on top of it so it will be nice and golden brown and flaky. So this is it. All you wouldn't believe, this was so light. Look how when I cut it, it just goes through. And you could actually see it. Look at the air bubbles that I was talking about earlier that created the pockets of steam. You could see it there. It was so light and perfect. Not bad for a first try on this recipe. So I just assembled it on a plate for serving, and when you serve it, people usually add cream and jam, and I'll show you how to do that in a second.
Okay, so that was the scones itself, right? I just want to say something. So I actually made an error when I was filming this, right? The recipe called for a half cup of heavy cream and I used a half cup of milk. I know this, but I totally forgot that if I was switching out the heavy cream, I should have used way less milk. Yeah, so if you don't have heavy cream and you're going to use milk, I would recommend that you cut it down to probably a 1/4 cup. You may use less, so as I said, with dough, always start with a little bit of the liquid. Also, what I realized is that when I was pouring out the milk, a lot of the sugar remained at the bottom of the bowl. So all of the sugar that the recipe actually recommended did not even get into the recipe. However, the end product turned out perfect. Like, it was the perfect sweetness for me and for my family, especially if you're going to have it with tea or you're going to add a glaze or something on top of it. and you're going to add the jam and the cream to it. It was the perfect sweetness. So if you are using the milk and you're going to cut down the amount of milk, if you want to, you can also cut down the amount of sugar. If you are not adding any dried fruit like the cranberry, which is going to add some sweetness to it, you could probably add the amount of sugar that your recipe actually calls for. It's up to you, whatever you like. It's all about experimenting.
So here you just cut it in half. You could see the cranberries in it. So add the jam, and on top of that you're gonna add some of the cream. Yummy. I think I put too much because it kind of overflowed a bit, but oh well, you live and you learn. And then cover it.
So that's it for this video. Don't forget to thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and click the subscribe button if you want to see more videos. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.